Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage and welcome to episode 4 of Crusader Kings 2. Not an awful lot has happened recently. We're still waiting for some of our people to sort themselves out. We're waiting for our Chancellor to go and fabricate a claim over here. We do have a few vassals that really don't like us, which is slightly problematic, mainly because I would love to be able to try and... let me scroll this, right click for some strange reason. I would love to be able to change succession law. Problem that I've got now is this guy, because he is my rival. I don't think that I'll ever be able to do anything to fix that. I can start trying to throw money at him and trying to bribe him and stuff like that. I will do a little bit because I would like to get him in a positive opinion. If I can get him in a positive opinion, then I can go ahead and change the succession law, which would be quite a nice thing to do. You're the Count of Warwick, aren't you? So yeah, you should be trying to deal with yourself there, really. It hasn't improved his relations with himself. If you can do, will be good. Don't know if we can ever get rid of that rivals thing. We'll have to see how that works. Maybe it wasn't the best idea usurping the title, but we'll see how it goes. Books have always fascinated me, and when I heard of a friend of mine is a scholar and a member of a small group of people dedicated to studying books, discussing them and learning more about our world through philosophy and science, I knew I had to know more. So... I need more time to study so I can impress the group of scholars, or my friend tell me more about the scholars. Let's go for that option there. So we'll still let time go on. We could possibly... what have we got here? Another child lacks a guardian. That is my son. And again, I will go ahead and educate him myself, because I've got quite high diplomacy, so it would be nice if I could do it myself. So let's go ahead and do that. Are you now old enough to... Oh, looks like there's a few factions popping up in Francia and ripping it apart. Now, wow, you're in a lot of wars there. Okay, this might not be the best time to bother you with this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Right, are you betrothed, married? No, you're 12. Let's go and arrange betrothal. Would you be willing to do it now? No, still not, you miserable git. Why is that? Because my son is still too young. Prestige effects... Because obviously your princess would be marrying the son of a duke, which is fair enough. If I could make the king like me just a little bit more and his age was just a little bit higher, then maybe we could get away with it. We'll keep trying to do that. We'll certainly see if that works. How much of a gift would I have to give you to make you like me? 107. Let's do it. Let's take the risk. How much do you like me now? You like me by 76. It's not a lot, but you do like me by 76. Okay, so let's go back to your oldest daughter. And let's go and arrange betrothal. He probably still won't do it. Oh, he will. So this would be my oldest son and heir marrying Charlemagne's oldest daughter. Now, she isn't the heir. It would give us an alliance. Give us quite a bit of prestige. Yep, he's decided to accept. Fantastic. Now, it's not going to create the alliance yet, because that'll only happen once they're married. But what we could start doing, because Charlemagne only has 2 sons, if we could kill both of the sons off, assuming that they are... agnatic cognatic, which I assume that they are. Not sure if there's a way to check, though there may well be. Then, if he's got no sons, it should revert to his oldest daughter. So, my son lacks all passion and ambition, perfectly content with his lot in life. So, he'll either gain the trait content, or he loses the trait content. Now, content gives him extra intrigue. No, he loses intrigue with content. But he gains piety and liege opinion. Don't think he needs the intrigue. We'll let him have that for now. We'll see how things go on. We could go and do another great hunt. Although I think it might be better to have the feast. Group of hedge knights. Yeah, welcome them as usual. One's got injured. Hold a feast. Has to be November. So, not quite time yet. So we can have a feast. So we're making a fair bit of money. Got a fair bit of prestige coming in now as well. So we'll go ahead. We'll do that. All the vassals will be there. No shortage of troops. Good stuff. I think what we'll also do, because we have got some money in the bank, we'll go into Leicester and I'd like to build the next level of Castle Town, but it requires Castle Walls 1. But Castle Walls 1 does give us more tax income. So let's go ahead and build the Castle Walls in Leicester. It won't just give us the tax, but it'll also give us better fort level and plus 2.5% on the levy size. So it's well worth doing that. Just while we've got some money. Sooner you can get the tax-based buildings, the more money you'll earn, and the sooner you can put that into building other buildings. Don't have the option to spend lavishly here, which is weird, but we'll spend enough to satisfy everyone's hunger. We'll invite all the people. You're not going to come, which is fine. Didn't expect you to. I think he'll be the only one that doesn't come. And obviously it is, because otherwise it would have changed by now. So, all my vassals have arrived. What I could do, of course... Yep, everyone like that. What I could do, of course, is get rid of this guy completely. Because he would no longer be my vassal if I revoked the vassalage from him and took this myself. Again, I would be over my domain limit if I did that. I could go ahead and give Northampton, for example, to somebody else. It's a little bit strange how it splits the land up here because they are in different de jure duchies. We could go ahead and give Northampton to the Count of Bedford. Of course, taking Warwick would only give me Tamworth as the county capital. It wouldn't give me the barony of Warwick there, even though that would still be a vassal, because that has its own baron. But I would be able to take this. So what we could do is revoke title. Now, we'd lose 50 prestige. His opinion of me would drop by 80. Another vassal's opinion would drop by 20. We could plot to try and take it back. I mean, that could certainly work. We could plot to take it. It might be worth doing. What would be the plot power that we would have? Or do we have that as a plot option, to be honest? Plot to revoke the county of Warwick. Auto invite to plot. What would we get up to? Looks like that's going to be achievable. Not a huge amount of plot power, though. Going to bring the game speed down a little bit, because we're going to try something here that could be a little bit risky. We are going to revoke the county of Warwick. I'm going to try anyway. We'll see what happens. Bear in mind now he only has a single province. Looks like it's going to be war again. That's fine. So, he's no longer going to be our Chancellor, of course, because, you know, we've just gone to war with him. You can continue to try and fabricate claims there for the time being. We are going to raise up all of the vassals we can. We don't have a huge number, though. We'll try and put them all together in Leicester. We will try and avoid any of the vassals marching directly through Warwick. Although, saying that... he has not an awful lot of troops, so if we just go and just get everyone to descend into Warwick... admittedly, it was a little bit derpy, the timing there, because I threw an army in onto his army, and I should have got in with one big stack as opposed to in little bits and pieces. But, I mean, look at the amount of men we've got. It's absolutely fine there. So, what we're going to do just there is we'll take that group, we'll group them together. You can just go over here and stomp the guy, basically. We can actually go back up to high speed again. And that's fine. So let's move in here. We could disband all the troops, but we'll put them all into the province together. The reason we're going to do that is the more people you've got in there, the quicker the attack will go. In fact, what we could do is we could actually assault the holding, but it probably wouldn't be a very smart idea. We'd lose a lot of men from the levy. Now, the advantage of doing this, it means that he will no longer then be my vassal. And if he's no longer my vassal, then I don't have to worry about his opinion. And we should be able to then change the succession law, which would be really nice if that works out. So we'll wait for that to finish off. We don't need to be in the de jure duchies map mode anymore. So it's taken a little while. What speed are we in? We are still in speed 3. I guess we could go up to speed 4. He can't produce any more troops, of course, because he only has the one county, and we're sitting in that. Already got 60% war score. My son practically lives in the kitchens, the little glutton. So, eat and be merry, child. We will lose prestige and he'll gain the train gluttonous. We can birch him. His opinion of us will drop by 5 for 2 years, and there's only a 40% chance he'll lose the trait gluttonous. Talk to him about moderation, or pray God will save him. I think I'm going to talk to him about moderation because there's a 50% chance that he could get temperate, which would give him some extra stewardship. So let's talk to him about his moderation. He's gained the temperate trait. Good stuff. This is the reason why sometimes it's good to educate your child, because when you educate the child yourself, most of the events that pop are based on the sort of traits that you have. And when those decisions come up, obviously if you're educating them, you get to choose which of those actions that you take. If somebody else is educating your child, they get to choose the actions that they take. And the actions they take will be based on their own personality and their own... their own traits. Castle walls have been built in Leicester. One child lacks a guardian, which is this one. And you are... these names, really. Beort Waru, apparently, or something like that. I bet you still have to... yeah. Your wife doesn't. Not that your wife cares. Who would we like us in our own lands? And who does like us somewhat? You do. You are our Chancellor. You are the Earl of Chester. How about then you educate my daughter? Can you educate her yourself? Yes, you can. And that will increase his opinion of us by 20. So, there we go. It goes up to 91. Fantastic. So, he likes us a little bit more. So, it's now our Chancellor. Our Chancellor likes us quite a bit. Can we give you an honorary title? Master of the Horse. That'll probably put him up to a... fantastic. So, now our Marshal and our Chancellor and our Steward and our Spymaster and our Chaplain all like us by 100%. That is awesome. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. We do need to start working on a couple of these other people. Do we have any vassals that don't like us at the moment? No, we do not. Which means we can probably change that succession law. Or can we not? Because we're not at peace. Okay, fine. Well, won't be long before that problem's sorted. We just need to finish sieging out this province. How long is that going to take? Minus 5.9%. One more tick and we'll have that. So that won't be a problem. There we go. 100% war score. So let's go ahead, offer peace, enforce demands, and babum. So we've now succeeded to revoke the county of Warwick. Now, we are over our domain limit here. So I'm going to give Northampton to this guy. How much do you like me? 47. It makes sense because they're actually... yeah, they're in the same duchy, aren't they? I believe so. Does your duchies? Yeah, they're both in the petty kingdom of Essex. So let's go ahead and we will grant you a landed title. Congratulations, you're the new county of Northampton. Include lower titles. Off you go, son. So that puts us back down to our domain limit. We can drop all of our vassals. Don't need those up anymore. And we should now be able to change the law. Brilliant. So, there's two parts to changing the succession law. So, we have three options. We've got agnatic cognatic, which we already have, which means that the males always inherit first, but if there's no males, then it will go to females. You can have agnatic, which means only males can inherit, or you can have absolute cognatic, which means that women inherit on the same grounds as men do. So therefore, if your first child is a daughter, she will become your heir. Even if you have a son after the daughter, the daughter would still be the heir. Not bothered about changing that because agnatic cognatic is fairly standard. Main reason for that, of course, you're trying to carry on your family line, and obviously, unless you get matrilineal marriages, males carry on the family line and females don't, because the child is usually the dynasty of the husband, not the wife. So, we have some options we can pick. We've currently got Gavelkind, which is what I don't want. The problem with Gavelkind is if you have multiple children and you have quite a few titles, then those titles get split between the children, and you can end up. Let's say I'm the King of England and the King of Wales and the King of Scotland, for example, and I have 3 children. When I die, my oldest child or my heir would get the King of England, which would be my primary title, but the Kingdom of Wales and the Kingdom of Scotland would go one each to my other 2 children, which I don't want to happen because I'd only be playing as one of the children, and therefore I'd lose 2 of my kingdoms. Wouldn't be so bad if I was the Emperor, but still. So you've got elective Gavelkind, which is a similar thing, but your vassals get to elect who succeeds. Then you've got seniority, where it's always the oldest member of the dynasty that inherits. Now remember, that doesn't necessarily mean to say that it's going to be one of your children. It just means the oldest member of your dynasty. So you'd still be able to carry on playing the game because it would still be a family member, but it might be a sibling, it might be a nephew, it might be an uncle, it might be a cousin, it might be a sibling, but it might mean that it passes on to someone else in the family, whoever's the oldest. There is the opposite of that somewhere. Well, there used to be. We've got elective monarchy as well, which the main ones we want to look at for is primogeniture and ultimogeniture. They're basically the same thing, but primogeniture means everything goes to the oldest child. Ultimogeniture means everything goes to the youngest child. We want primogeniture. That's what we want there. The oldest child of the ruler inherits all titles. Your successor will like the law, but the other members of your dynasty will slightly disapprove. Now, we want to go for that one. And our oldest child, it will always mean the heir. So even if the oldest child is a daughter, because technically our oldest child is a girl, because it's agnatic cognatic, the males come first. So we want to vote for primogeniture. That's just going to help if our leader dies and we've got multiple titles. Now that also means now that our domain is slightly too big, because having the Gavelkind law does allow you to have a slightly bigger domain, but we can sort that out soon. Recent sighting of the Great White Stag. Let's go after the stag again. Now, do I want to give somewhere else away? Lincoln. We still own Lincoln. Who could we give Lincoln to? Who technically owns that as far as duchies go? Actually belongs to York. I could make somebody the Duke of Lincoln. I don't want to give people too much power. I could give it to somebody in my court who is unlanded, because I don't necessarily want to take somebody away from the council, nor do I really want to give land to somebody who has land elsewhere, if that makes sense. So what we can do is we can go and have a look in our court, and we can go and see if there's anybody in there who might be useful. So we've got this guy, this guy of Newark. He likes us quite a bit. This guy likes us even more, and he's just a courtier. So do you know what? You are going to be the new Count of Lincoln, and you want the lower titles. So that gets rid of Lincoln. Now, that was one of our biggest money makers. It's not too much of a problem. Were you our steward? Oh, I didn't realise that you were. Let's unpause, because we should still be able to steward you. 16. Could make that guy the steward. Still going after that thing. Right, you'll do. And we'll put you in Leicester. Let's just go ahead and do that. Lose 20 prestige or gains the trait arbitrary. I don't really want to gain the trait arbitrary, so we'll just lose the prestige. It's only 20. It's not terrible. Did we manage to put our steward in the right place? Yep, steward is in Leicester. That's fine. So we are now at our domain limit. That can increase as time goes on. Let's unpause the game, and it's very easy to leave it on pause sometimes and not realise that you've done it. So every time my son, Wolfer, meets a stranger, he looks like he might faint. The lad is just a little bit shy, so he can get the shy trait, which gives him -2 diplomacy. I prefer that he didn't have that. Shyness can be cured by the birch, which means there's a 40% chance that he will lose it. Shyness is a terrible curse. I think I'll talk with him. And it gives him a 50% chance that he'll gain the gregarious ability, or trait. Or I can pray that Jesus will provide strength, which is very, very unlikely that's going to happen. So let's have a little word with him. He's gained the gregarious trait. He's actually getting quite good now. He's weak, unfortunately. The fact that he's weak, and that's congenital. If you actually look at that particular trait, it's in a heart, which means if he has any children, those children are very likely to inherit that, which is a little bit of a pain. So he is weak, which does does affect his martial ability, his fertility, and his health, and his combat skill. So it's a little bit of a pain. And if you go and have a look at his sisters, for example, sisters are okay. Sometimes you'll find that the sisters may end up being strong. One of his sisters is already cruel. I caught my young ward, Wolfram. Remember, Wolfram here is my daughter. Torturing a rat behind the stables today. That's why she's cruel. Cruel gives extra intrigue and less diplomacy. And higher morale damage. It might be worth sometimes letting them have cruel. Because the good thing with cruel is having higher intrigue means you can use them as a spy master. You can also send them into your opponent's courts and try and use them to work on plots. So let's let her be cruel. And Bishop sent us a gift. It's a small puppy of the finest pedigree. I will accept this gracious gift. Gives us extra 1 health and gives us 1 diplomacy. Can send it back and upset him or lose some gold. Yeah, well, let's take it. Your new puppy has no name yet, my lord. What will you call it? Let's call it... Well, bear in mind, this is Martial. Because if you actually look, it's got the red border. So this is something that will increase our martial ability. So let's go with Hunter. Hunter is a good name. Not a lot else that we can do right now. We are still trying to work to get some claims here. Is there anywhere else that we can attack? Again, we could go after Durham, but it probably isn't worth it. Especially as at the moment it'd just be one little province on its own and it's quite isolated. Which of our daughters is it that is betrothed? It is Wolfen. So the one that is cruel, and this is what could be useful. We could end up having a daughter, or when we die and we take control of the sun, we'll have a sister who will potentially have a high intrigue level, and she will be inside the court of Francia. And we might be able to do some interesting things there with plots and stuff. So we'll see how that goes. But, however, we are at the 20-minute mark, I believe. I will just check. Yes, we are. So, that seems like a very good place to end the video. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hope you are enjoying Crusader Kings 2. And I'll see you next time. So, until then, goodbye for now.